So today we will talk about treat poverty with dignity. That will be our topic today. And we'll see what the Torah says about it. So treating poverty, which is a big problem in the United States. So treat poverty with dignity. How does the Torah wishes us to treat our poverty? Where can I, so as a Noahide, in what commandment should I frame it? Where should I put it in my mind? So let's go to our famous flow of commandment in the book of Genesis. And I try to find out where charity falls. So here is the flow. Here is the flow of the commandment of the story in the book of Genesis. It's gone, or do you see it? It's probably gone. You see it? Okay. So on top there is this is a flow according to the book. I put it in on my computer. Anyhow, the flow is showing on top. You see Adam. Of course, Adam is associated with idolatry. Chapter 1, so there's nothing charity there. Adam and Eve in Eden are associated with adultery. Well, there's nothing there in giving charity or treating the poor. Bloodshed, number 3, Noah and the flood story, bloodshed. So again, there was nothing to do with the charity. Now we come to Abraham. Abraham is very much so involved in charity. Abraham is a lover of Hashem. All the story of his life revolved around the way he fought against theft, number 4. And he fought it with a unconditional charity because he loved Hashem, not because he had a good heart. Maybe Rebecca, we said Rebecca, as a child, he treated Eliezer out of good heart. But Abraham, he loved Hashem. Isaiah called him beloved, my beloved, in the name of Hashem. So he did it unconditional charity without asking anything in return besides blessing Hashem, out of love of Hashem. And he didn't ask, he didn't see who is the one who get the charity. You get whatever you need, whatever you want, as much I can give you. That's Abraham, unconditional love and charity. Come Isaac. Isaac was on the altar by the command of Elohim, Din. and he accepted the din, the decree, blindly, and all his life he was like this. So Isaac represents for us Elohim way, Gevura, the hardening your heart in the name of Hashem, meaning accepting Hashem law, words, and who can epitomize that more than Isaac? And then come the next in the line there, Jacob. So Jacob is a grandson of Abraham, and here comes Sfat Emet, tell us the whole story. But it's not, I don't need Sfat Emet, only it's just come out from the text, from the Talmud. Jacob, as a grandson, is in the middle there between the two, because he was seeking the truth between them. He knew that following Abraham, his grandfather, giving charity unconditional, is not good. It will destroy both the receiver and the giver. The receiver will get unconditional love, is humiliated. And you can destroy it. You can, you see it on the children. On the other hand, also, if you give unconditional love, it also destroy you, because your ego become inflated. You think you are God. You give. Abraham was okay, but normal people cannot do it without affecting their own personality or ego. So Jacob didn't like the idea of following Abraham blindly. I'm talking about treating the poor, charity. So if you give charity like Abraham without any condition, it's not good. So he found the middle way between Abraham and Isaac, so that the people get charity on condition, in din. He combined charity with din. You demand something in return. And that's called real mercy. The attribute of mercy related to Jacob, because if you just shower grace and love without any something in return, you cause destruction. But if you shower mercy and compassion, but with restriction, first of all, and secondly, by demanding something in return, it's enduring, and it will not destroy both the giver and the receiver. So here is Jacob at the focus of our attention, the way to give charity. Now, indeed, Jacob is, if Abraham is number 4, fought against Gezel, theft, Jacob now come and all his life revolving around civil order and justice. So now Jacob make charity a law. When he vowed to go to Laban, when he escaped home to go to the north, to escape from Esau, he vowed, if Hashem will return me in peace, I will make Hashem, mercy or compassion, my law. Hashem, my law. I'll make it as a law. And that's what he did. When after that philosophy of of Jacob. We have the sabbatical. We have all the gifts for the poor that are instituted by the Torah, not because you have a good heart, but because the Torah made it a law. Enormous amount of charity, much more than you would give it by yourself. Imagine just a sabbatical or 10% of your income every 2 years, every 3 years. On the 3rd and the 6th of the sabbatical, you give 10% of your income. It's an enormous amount, but you do it as because of the Torah. The Rambam, Maimonides, discuss it, and he called it tzedakah. For instance, when the Torah says, when you take collateral from a poor person, first of all, you don't give him just a gift, but you take collateral. And you take the collateral, the Torah tell you at night, you should give it back to the person so he can cover himself when he's cold. In the morning, you may take it back. If you do that, the Torah says, you do tzedakah or charity. So here is a definition of the Torah. Tzedakah is something you do not because you have a good heart, but the Torah tell you, and the Torah has a good heart. And implication of that, imagine how it's done. Let's say when you come to ask, the Torah, one of the law of giving charity like this, is that when you have a poor man, you do it as a loan to keep his dignity. To keep his dignity. So when he sit there in a room, he is not ashamed. You give him a loan. You're obliged to pay back. You, on the other hand, the giver, your ego is not super inflated. You don't shower endlessly love on somebody beneath you, but you give him something the Torah obliges you, a mitzvah. So both under this setup of which is very common in Israel, for instance, when you ask for charity, for help, that's how they do it. And they give you loans. Yes, later on, if you cannot stand, the loan is free of interest. And if you cannot pay for some reason, they can delay the payment, or can erase it or wipe it out. That's a different story. But the dignity of the person is preserved. Why I emphasize dignity? Because you look at the chart, Jacob is at the heart, at the middle of the chart. Jacob occupies the middle of the heart of the chart. He is the heart of the commandment. And the focus is on the heart. And that's also called glory. Kabbalah called Jacob, amazingly, by the name of glory. So the glory is not just glory. You sit there with a crown and you look down on other people. Glory means that's the dignity. So the Torah teaches you to act with dignity and to listen to dignity of people's heart. So the way to treat the poor is to help them with dignity of the receiver and dignity of the giver. Now, where is the section in the Torah that we can follow that? That was I was looking. I mean, I had it here on print, and I wanted to let the machine read it to you, but somehow it's gone. I don't understand it. Anyhow, let's open. I don't have to open. In the book of Deuteronomy, I can read it to you in my broken English, but it's in Deuteronomy, chapter 16, and then it talks. That's the only section in Torah that actually talk about the poor man, the Ebionite, as the Torah called it. Famous section of the Ebionite. Now, before we read it, I know that people can charge me right away and say, well, we're talking about Genesis, the book of the flow of the commandment in Genesis. Now you bring me something from Deuteronomy? Don't you know that the Torah is concocted or built up by different authors? There is D, there is A. If you go to any university in the world, you sign up with the biblical studies, this is what they teach you. Especially the book of Deuteronomy, they tell you, no, this is a book that King Josiah, just few years before the destruction, found it, and somebody wrote it, maybe a priest, because the language is singular and it does not correlate to the priesthood Torah, which is 4 books before. Book of Deuteronomy is a new thing concocted, maybe the 8th century, they tell you. Don't combine things from Deuteronomy to Genesis. Ha, ha, ha. They don't know that the famous menorah, I didn't make a picture of that. I wanted, but I didn't. You remember the computer find the whole 5 books are united like a big menorah of five circles, 5 half circles. There is Genesis and Shmot, Exodus, and then in the middle is Vayikra. I call it Vayikra, Leviticus, and then after that, Numbers and Deuteronomy. All the 5 books are combined with one thing. They start with the Taf, Vav, Reish, Hey, Torah, with a jump of 50 letters. So if you see that in the first book, this is how it will introduce. The computer find it. People don't find it otherwise. And the Torah, and then Numbers, Torah, and Torah. The Leviticus is the only one in the middle, which is YHVH. Now, when you see that structure, that can be found only by computer, of course, because there is a jump of 50 letters. Now, anyone who see this structure, which is really text, it's not something invented. You cannot come to any other conclusion, but there is one author. one author for the 5 books. And if somebody tell you that's not true, there is a B, C, D, E, well, you know where to send him. Show the door. The fool doesn't even know what he's talking about. Unfortunately, it's so common. Every time I speak about it, the people jump. Why do you connect? And no, the 5 books of Moses are one lamp. And it's amazing that our generation merited to see that. You know, if I look at the writing of this rabbi or that rabbi in the 10th century, 15th century, even the Rambam, they didn't know about it. They didn't know about it. Only our generation, even our generation didn't know it until somebody came and used a computer and found it. So as many other things that only our generation, by the help of science, we understand better the Torah. So science not only doesn't negate the Torah, but science helps the Torah. For instance, this is an excellent example. Anyhow, go back to our topic about Aviner in the book of Deuteronomy. And I'm allowed to read it. And as a Noahide, since everything is here related to number 5, and number 5 is I'm obligated to abide by number 5 dinim, civil justice, as the same as any Jew, any Israelite. There is no difference. So I'm as a Noahide allowed, so to speak. It's okay for me to use a text in the Torah that especially relates to my own commandment. And in fact, the Ramban, when he talk about Jacob, to remind you, he learned from the story of Shechem that they were destroyed by Shimon and Levi, and he says, from here we learn that the people of Shechem should have learned all the law of civil law and civil order from the Talmud. So here we come, when you come to number 5, Jacob, it's a common between, there is no difference, absolutely no difference between if you are a Jew or non-Jew, if you're Israelite or not. It obliges every person on earth. And it goes there in detail what part of the Talmud they should learn. Almost half of the Talmud at least. And from there, we talk about it. The Lubavitcher Rebbe wanted to open up this yeshiva for Bnei Noach to learn what? To learn what the Ramban says about the law, civil law. So let's go back to our topic. How to treat charity according to the Torah. And it says here in the book of Deuteronomy, first he talks about the Shemitah, the seven years. You have to open your hand and do it because I tell you. So the Torah here go back to Jacob. Jacob pledged that I will do charity by law. And here the Torah says, on the 7th year, you do charity by law. What kind of charity? Wow, you leave everything on the field. Trucks full of fruits that you could do millions of dollars there. You leave it to the poor. Show me anyone who does it. And then the Torah warns you, if you don't do it, God forbid, it will be very bad to you. And he says, you don't harden your heart and don't don't keep your clean clothes from your brother Avion, the poor Avionite, Avion. It doesn't use the term ani, poor Avion. We'll talk about it in a minute. You should open your heart rather than fix it, and you should give him as he needs, and so on. And then he says, if you do that, if you do that, I will assure that you will have no poor person, no everyone in the land. Because Hashem will bless you. That's verse 4. Although I order you to do that, but be assured that you follow this law and other law of the Torah. If you follow not only the law of the Shemitah, but you follow the Torah, Jacob stands for the Torah, give you the Torah. So I am sure if you follow that Torah, that's verse 4, I will assure that you will have no Evion. It's in English it's translated there, poor, but what is Evion? Evion, poor is objectively poor. Poverty. Evion is not only a person who lacks something objectively, but Evion is subjectively poor. It's a big difference, it's one step up. A person can be owner of quite a lot of resources, yet he feels something lacking. Evion comes from the word ta'eva, desire. Remember, we go back to Jacob in the middle of the chart. Everything here revolves around the heart. So the Torah concern not only about the objective status of the poverty, that's for sure important, but the Torah goes higher than that and concerned about the perception of the humiliation of the person, or that he feel something lacking in his dignity. That's Evion. And then, lo and behold, the Torah continues, and then in verse 7 suddenly he says, listen to that, Ki iye becha Evion, when you have, first he said, if you follow me, you will have no Evion. Then he said, I'm sure Ki iye becha, and I know that there will be Evionite among you. Then you should not harden your heart. So Rashi and all the commentaries says it's a contradiction. First, he promised me that there will be no Ebionite. Then he says, when I'm sure you will have Ebionite. So the simple answer is, here's if you follow my commandment, there will be you will have no Ebionite. And if you don't follow me, that you will have. That's simple pshat. We'll see in a minute, much deeper pshat, much deeper explanation, a real explanation. So let's discuss this section a little bit more in depth. He says, you should give him, you should give everything he lacks, if he feel lacking. So the Talmud goes in detail, asking at length, what does it mean a person lack? Even if he has horses and and a house, I should still give him charity? So the answer is depends what the person from where he is coming from. And here's a story. I believe it is a true story. The Talmud tell about Hillel, the elderly Hillel, the first president in the dynasty of Hillel. He lived about 200 years BC, okay? He's not from David. He's a newcomer from Babylon. He's poor, and he became a president of Israel, the head of the Sanhedrin. And the story was that person came to him, or he knew about the person, one of the wealthiest person in Jerusalem, that lost everything, and he's now living alone in the house in his family, and he's crying and lamenting. He's lost. So besides making sure that they get enough resources to live, Hillel himself took carriage with horses, went to the person's home, asked him where he wants to go, and the person said, I need to go this and this, business or something. He put the person on his wagon, and Hillel himself ran on foot in front of the horses to lead them to that person. And people on the street saw that, and they shout, the president of Israel, running in front of horses, carrying somebody to restore his dignity. That's a story that tell you, I don't need to add anything. It tell you everything it's a subjective Ebionite. Hillel understood it, that being Ebionite is a subjective feeling of humiliation, of lack of dignity because of your condition. Poor condition. You have to be careful to restore the person honor, dignity. So Ebionite, let's see what the verse says. Out of that, now we have a deeper understanding. So it says, going to the first verse, it says, if you should do this and this, you should open your heart and your hand. But I assure you that if you follow my laws, you will have no Ebionite. Wow, the poorest city in Israel is Bnei Brak. The income, the personal income is much below the national poverty line, much below. Families with multiple children, husband sitting there learning yeshiva all day long, getting some food stamps, some this and this. And the wife sometimes works, sometimes don't work because she's a mother of 10 children in poor housing. I mean, the small house, nothing, no mansion, nothing. And this is the happiest in a survey that they did. Where is the people most happier? The happiest city in Israel, where people are the most happy. Bnei Brak. They lack nothing. They have so much help, associate, connection to the rest of the community. They provide each other with everything they need. If you are a mother of 10, you get 10 wagons from other wagon. You don't have to go to the store to buy anything. If you need food, they put they put food, food, the best food on the doorstep. It's known. Clothes, food, all the necessity of life, they provide for each other. And they esteem, and they don't feel poor because they esteem the values of the community is not how much money you have in a bank or how beautiful home you live, but what status of your husband in yeshiva. Is he a STEAM learner? He come on with a Torah, Chidushim, with a new understanding of law. Is he climbing up in a level of Torah? Does he learn? Does he accomplish something in his learning? That's how they measure people, for real. That's how they ask. They tell the daughter, "You pick up the best student in yeshiva. I want him to be my son-in-law." You don't tell him go. You don't tell a daughter go to CPA and be a lawyer and pick up some wealthy person and so on and live in Miami. They tell a daughter, go and I will find for you the best student in the yeshiva. It's for you. So the whole scale of esteem, dignity, the whole ego is measured, is aspiring in a different direction, vector. I don't know if you ever sense it, but I live there. I know in our synagogue, there were wealthy people. But they set on the side there. They have no, beside I gave donation, but in terms of esteem, who is going to sit by the Holy Ark? Who is going to sit close to the rabbi? And then far away. All that was measured, exactly the person sits there close to the rabbi because he is, wow, he learned so much, he knows that much. The whole scale is different. If you live in such a large community like Bnei Brak, you are not Avionite. You have no poverty. Your annual income is nothing. You wear clothes that actually people donated to you. Your friend, they don't need it anymore, they gave it to you. You are now pregnant, so the other woman next to you, she gave it to you. Your daughter become a bride. Oh, there are many, many brides that don't need the clothes anymore. They gave it to you free of charge. And so on. And they are happy. There is a book from a very critic of the Haredi community who made a journey in Israel from community to community. Tenenbaum, his name. And he wrote a book, fascinating book, and he says, I'm Haredi, I'm unhappy. That's the title of the book. He's struck with the idea, with the finding that people in Tel Aviv, next door, will make 10, if not 100 times more per year than those poor people in Bnei Brak. They are not happy. They are divorced. The family is destroyed usually. He goes this way, she goes this way, and a bitter life and so on. You know the story. Just watch a regular American movie, you will see it. Such beautiful homes and luxury, and they fight, and she has her, she fall in love with this. God forbid. Family is destroyed and none of them is happy. But you go to Bnei Brak, and Bnei Brak is just one. There are many, many, many such community that follow the law of the Torah. And he says, thou shalt not, you will, if you follow my Torah, you will have no avion. You change by teaching people Torah, you change the scale of what you desire in life. Then poverty doesn't seem to be to you so humiliating. You don't pay attention to that as long as you have the basic necessities. So that as far as the first verse. Okay, first verse, chapter 15, verse 3 or 4. He says, I know that if you could follow my Torah, you will have no Avionite, because Hashem will bless you. Hashem will bless you. You will get also connected. Hashem will bless you. If you look at the chart, Jacob is in the middle of the chart. And from Jacob goes down to the kingship of Joseph. So if you follow Jacob in his line, Hashem will answer you as a king who provide. So that's the way to get something that you don't even ask. Hashem will bless you with things that you didn't even ask. You will have also material things. Why not? It's a blessing. But if you come from that vantage, from that point of view of the Torah, you have different opinion on that. You don't go walk around with big ego. And you're not bitter all day long because there are so many things that your ego wants. Now, so let's go now to the opposite. Verse 7. Suddenly the Torah turned around and she said, oh, I know that you will have an Avionite one day. So a simple explanation. Reality is that, not everyone is a Torah scholar, and not everyone lives in such a community. And I know that there will be Ebionite. That's a simple explanation, okay? But there's much, much deeper than that. It tell you, if you want, that the truth is that even in such a community, there are things that you want, you heart desire. You may not so aspire to get a bigger house and bigger car, because this is not will make you important. If you're a big Torah scholar, it will make you important. But there are other things your heart will be desire, because the desire, the passion to reach some goals or to feel like lacking, it's part of us. Hashem put an ego in us to achieve things. If we sit idle and feel like we don't need anything, who is going to build the world? Who is going to progress the world? So we need the push. We are all, in that sense, by definition, we are all Ebionite. It depends what kind of things we lack. We want esteem. We want to achieve things. And especially we want honor. So we desire, our ego aspire to get recognition, honor, so dignity. Now, I just finished a book, a bestseller in the New York Times, Poverty in America. Poverty in America. It's a fascinating book. I want to show you there. It's going over the author who probably spent his life on that topic. He described in detail, excruciating detail, the level of poverty in America. Why we have so many homeless. Why you go to the street of our most beautiful towns are destroyed by homelessness. It's really the filth. And when you walk around there, where is the United States government? What's going on here? Entire cities, this downtown are destroyed by city after city. Even here in Atlanta, it's growing. So the author goes in pain, it's difficult to read. All the possible reasons of the homelessness and the poverty in such beautiful and wealthy America. How is it possible that America, the richest, wealthiest country in the world, is such a thing that nobody ever, it's worse than Bangladesh. So is it possible? And not only that, the level is stable, 15%. He goes to the archives, he goes to the all the surveys, official report, how many homelessness and poor people. About 15% of our population spend their life under the radar. That normal people don't even know that exist. Their life revolve around jail, court, lawyers, police, evacuation, eviction, thrown to the street, being discriminated, being exploited. All the shark take advantage of them, renting rundown facilities for very high rate, take advantage of the poor. Nobody speaks about it, And it goes, and when you read it, your heart is broken. And you try to figure out what's causing that. Is it a lack of education? Yeah, but not much. It's not so much. We compare uneducated in society, white society, and this society. And non-education is explained, but not that much deeper than that. Is it single motherhood? Yes, but look at Denmark, where single motherhood is almost the normal, and nobody there is poor. Living in a rundown community, yes, full of drug and filth, that's affecting the individuality. That's true. All these factors are right, but they somehow don't explain why it's so steady, why it never goes away. Lack of money? It's $1 billion go from the government to the charity. Much of that doesn't even reach the poor. I myself witnessed that when I walk I work in a charity hospital in New Orleans, and I was appalled. I was a professor at Tulane, and I need to spend once a week in charity hospital. And the facility is run down, the equipment is like 30 years old. And I asked the CEO, he was a friend of mine, close friend of mine, what's going on here? Is there no money, charity hospital in this United States? There's no church resources, no government. We don't ask. From $1, I get only maybe 10, 15 cents. Everything in between is gone. So there is a budget, but the budget is misdirected, embezzlement. He goes over all that. No, Clinton allocated for $450 billion for charity. Not very fraction of that came to the real poor, and so on. And the system itself promotes, food stamp promote people to stay in a system. I mean, you know the story. I don't have to repeat it to you. So he goes over that in detail, in numbers. And the conclusion, I tell you, actually it doesn't get in. It doesn't really get, I don't think it get a real conclusion of what to solve it. I was waiting for him to offer at least something. And his conclusion was to make it more efficient. I was thinking about the new administration, Musk now running the efficiency. But you know, even under Musk, it will probably, there are things that of course, we need to add mental condition, drugs addiction, all that. So it's not like one part. But the problem is, as I understood it from the Torah perspective, there is a big fault here. The fault that we close our eyes from the dignity of the people. The fact that we allow them to live like that smooth in a street, it's not because I want to beautify the city and promote the commerce. I want the store to open up again, to take the billboard and open up the store like it used to be. I'm aching, I'm wondering about the dignity of the people there. When you see such a homeless in the streets, it's a God image. And you should feel ashamed because you allow God image to live in a street so filthy and without dignity. Dignity here is not just putting them in shelter. I can put the person in a golden place with marble and so on, but still his dignity is not necessarily repaired. So we need to learn what the Torah tells us here: treat the poor with dignity, respect. When you think about God, I will finish maybe with a story that I had in Memphis one time. There was a counselor, I think he was a mayor, visited our synagogue, our Hirsch, and he spent an hour and a half of packed audience, how he was black, I should say, and how the poverty of the black stopped them from learning. And he blamed the poverty to stop them from advancing in the society. And I remember one of the rabbi sitting behind me quoted silently the Midrash saying, I'm saying to you the Midrash. The Midrash says, this is the way you learn Torah. You should on the floor. You should sit. You should lie on the floor. You should sleep. You should eat only pot, bread with salt, and drink only wine. And that's all. And you should learn Torah day and night, while the only bed you have is a mattress on the floor, and the only bread you have is pot, the bread with salt. That's the way, and the Midrash is finished. And you should be, you warn the people, you should be careful with all the children of the poor people, because they become Torah scholars. So that the rabbi behind me, that's what he's silent. He didn't say it openly, he didn't want to offend the mayor, but everybody around us turned to him, and I said, wow, you said the right thing. It's not giving them money or giving somebody money and resources. It's to change his mindset, to learn dignity. How? By teaching them Torah. I have, if I take maybe a few more minutes, because one more point, I wrote to myself, the Midrash says, you should not, there will be never end, always will have an Ebionite among you, even at the time of the Messiah. So here comes the Talmud and says, Shmuel says, from here I learn that when Messiah will come, there will be poor people. Nothing will change, only the independence of Israel. What does it mean? So why do we need the Messiah for the Gentile? Why do we need, we spoke about it. If the Messiah is only to redeem Israel, so what about the rest of mankind? Where is Isaiah? So we spoke about it. When you want to learn Torah to change your aspect. So you can climb up in the book of Genesis from the bottom up. You can overcome. You can live sanctifying God's name. You climb up from number 6 to number 5, give charity as needed. You go to number 4, you fight Gezel, theft, and you go to now you come to the level of, if you look at the chart, you got to our level of Noah, Adam and Eve, and Adam. So anything at that level, I can climb up on myself. Noahide, even Jews, we can climb up on our own up to that level of the dotted line there, of Eden, an intersection between Eden and this earth. So when you come to the upper 3, the Torah says, even at the time of the Messiah, you will still be Ebionite. You will still be following lust for adultery. You will still have to fight your bloodshed. And you should adultery, and idolatry, those 3 top, you still need to overcome. They are so primordial. There's so much entrenched in our soul. In that sense, we will always be Ebionite. We always feel like something is lacking. In my neighborhood in Lafayette, a person got wealthy next door to me. He built a mansion. Looked like a White House. Maybe 1,000 rooms there, I don't know. And he lived there, all him and his wife, young wife, and some servants. The king of the world, yeah? He lacked nothing. He lacked nothing. He was not, no poverty, but he suffered from poverty, from Ebionite. You know why? I know that. Because 2 years after he built the building, he had an affair with another person's wife. As a result, he had to divorce his wife, split the house, leave, and leave town. So a person is Ebionite. Depends what he's lacking. And as I said, it's very difficult to uproot or to satisfy those demand of bloodshed, which is Noahide law, Noahide the rainbow. And it's difficult to overcome adultery either, and idolatry. Even in Eden, Adam was Ebionite. He lusted for things that was forbidden to him. He lusted for the fruit. She lusted for the fruit, and he lusted. So even in Eden, you are Ebionite. You lack, but so to overcome this, you need to learn Torah, and and that's the only option for you to see the next day. All right, of course we can talk about it endlessly. Any question for me?
I'd like to see if I understand. I've been listening for an hour, maybe less than an hour,
James.
because I came in. How are you tonight?
Maybe I need to switch. It's my fault.
One thing I can't see the board behind you.
Internal microphone.
Oh, he doesn't hear
Oh,
me. You hear me now?
Can you speak? Wait just a second.
How's that?
I don't hear you.
I hear you, James. So I think it's something with Rabbi's settings.
Well, Sandy, maybe you can help me fill in the gaps. I don't know if Rabbi can hear me at all. No, I can't hear him.
No, we can't. We can't. Well,
Well, we're talking giving dignity to poverty. When I talk about poverty, I could have a poor in spirit, or I could be poor in intellect, or the person I'm helping could be poor in intellect or spirit. It's important to me individually to maintain a level of respect where they have respect for themselves if they're lacking in something, if they think they're lacking in something. I don't think they're lacking in anything. They already have the tools. I just have to help them bring it out. Is that what Rabbi's talking about tonight?
I can kind of see that. I would like to get some other Nancy or Cora, you may, your thoughts on that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because we as Westerners, we don't poverty with dignity. Um, I don't know if I'd have dignity in my homelessness. I feel pretty bad about that if I drove myself into that direction, that far down, to my knees because I did it. Any other comments?
Well,
Hi. I my thoughts was about what Rabbi was talking and teaching us about the dignity of man is that I come from an Asian country, and we have this saying that is, if you give a man a fish, he eats for one day. But if you teach him to fish, then that is a skill that he can feed himself all his life. So from today's lesson, which was so practical, I learned that um, aside from bringing up a person from where he or she is, it's also to form ourselves, myself, because many times I am educated. So I really love the part where Rabbi said, uh, our hearts are not good, but the heart of Torah is good. So I think today's takeaway for me is really to delve more into the learning of Torah because, many times man is misinformed because of our experiences, etc. in life. So we think we're doing the right thing, but I think with the Torah as our guide, it's a much better path. So that's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, the point is on a dignity. James, did you want to ask something? James?
Rabbi, you're coming in very softly and low volume. I don't even know. Can you hear me?
I hear you now very well.
Oh, you do? Okay. Okay. Can you turn up your volume a little bit?
No, I'm okay now. You don't hear
I mean, for me to hear you better.
Okay. Go on. You want to ask?
I started out with I'm trying to reality check with you and the group. When we talk of in the Western culture, when I talk of poverty and dignity, I equate poverty as a poverty of spirit or intellect. And what I do professionally is I try to bring that out in you. I try to give dignity to your misconception of not being intelligent, let's say. Is that what you're trying to teach us tonight? I'm not giving the guy or the gal money.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect.
I'm trying to develop them.
Perfect. You're right.
Okay, good. All right, now I can go.
Yeah. You don't shower on them from, okay, I'm going to give you so much money and I will take care of you. I will teach you that you are intelligent and you have the dignity of being born in the image of God, and you are not different from any other person.
I think that you made she's one of the participants. She made a very good point. I think I've heard this before from her. Did you want to tell us again, you may?
Sure. You mean the saying, is it?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. The saying is give a man a fish and he eats for one day, but you teach him to fish and he eats his whole life. So, as James, you were saying, it's to raise the person up by giving them the necessary skills and to give them that dignity and pride that they can achieve
Yeah.
and not just getting a handout for a day.
You enable them to raise their self-esteem or self-impression, because they come to you with that. They come with an attitude I'm not good. I just can't do this. I can't do that. Well, I can't fly a plane. Okay. So am I going to beat myself up because of that? You may come back to me, you may,
Yeah,
and say, well, I can't fly a plane either, but I can fly a kite. Can
yeah,
you? Right?
yeah. Exactly, yes.
My purpose in this class, I know that I'm not going to introduce any new ideas. It's all over the place, but I wanted to frame as a Noahide to walk around. When you walk around with the 7 ideas or the 7 commandments, 6 commandments of Adam, and I know that's the Torah told me to do. So where should I frame the whole issue of charity and restoration of the person's dignity? So where is it in the Torah? How should I frame it as a Noah? Because this is what I should have in my mind all day long, the 7 commandments of Noah. So what we see here that is related, as I explained to you, on commandment number 5. And commandment number 5 is a civil order, not only civil order and justice, but it's also dignity and charity. Charity in the sense that the Torah tell you what to do, that you keep the Torah, you learn Torah, and the Torah tell you you should bring your collateral to the person. You should restore his dignity. You should give him a loan rather than charity. So all this many laws of charity is part of Jacob story. It's part of number 5. So now as a Noahide, you don't walk on limbo and quote this scholar or that scholar or that. You know that from the Torah perspective, you stand on the right footstep when you think about dinim, number 5. When you do this, when you follow those philosophies, when you try to restore people's dignity, you follow a positive commandment of the Torah, which is dinim number 5. Number 5 is a positive commandment. It's number 1 and 2 and 3 are negative. Thou shalt not commit this, thou shalt not commit this. But number 5 is stand up and do something. So part of do something here is instill dignity in the person, the poor person, which is now a huge topic by itself, how to restore dignity and a person that is intelligent, that is the image of God. But you should take care of the homelessness in a dignified way, not and so on. But when I operate like this, and I know that I fulfill a commandment from the Torah, number 5 of dinim. That's what my purpose of my presentation today. That we walk all our lives, and the 6th commandment, 7th commandment of Noah on our mind. And if you do that, Hashem will help you, and Hashem will respond to you. And as the Torah says, then you will have no poor people among yourself. And you yourself have a dignity. Hashem wants the Torah, the commandment says, keep the dignity of the receiver and give the dignity of the giver. Okay, so that's the purpose. I want to frame, where are we now when we talk about getting rid of poverty? Where are we now in the commandment of law? We walk in number 5.
What was that citation in Torah that you were using? You went to chapter 15
That's Deuteronomy, yeah.
when you're using Torah as a citation. What verses were you looking at, Rabbi?
Look at the entire chapter 15 Deuteronomy. You will see that. You read it. There are 2 verses opposing each other. One says, if you do that, you will have no poor people, no avion. And the other next 2, 3 down the line, it says, I promise you there will be. So it's 2 opposing verses. And that's what he said. One, Rashi says, the first one, when you follow the law of Hashem will promise you will have no poor people, no avionites. And the other one, if you don't follow, you will have. That's a simple answer. And then I said that there is more than just a simple explanation of that. If you follow what the first promise is that you follow the way of the Torah, you change your scale of esteem. And you don't look for another bigger car, and you always feel something lacking. I want a bigger house. I want a bigger car. I want to switch to Y car Tesla. I want to have a flying car because my neighbor has it already. And so you don't follow that American dream. You follow the Torah dream. And when you follow the Torah dream, you have different aspirations. As I said, look at Bnei Brak. They don't feel like lacking something if they don't have a robot in their home that smiles to them, and so on. So that's what I want to say. To frame it in number 5. Yeah.
Could I see the board behind you, Rabbi?
Yeah. The green stands for the commandment.
I'm writing, so it may take me a little while here.
Go on. You see the color there. Red is a person. Green is the commandment. So that's
Do those Hebrew words before, like if we take a look at Jacob, it says dinim. Does that mean justice?
Dinim means a civil order and justice.
Okay.
And that's commandment number 5. So that's a flow of the stories of the book of Genesis. To take you from the one commandment to the next. And
Is that a flow chart? It goes from this to that, from the bottom up or from the top down?
Say it again, from the top down. From chapter 1 is the top, at the end of the book of Genesis at the bottom. This story is the whole story, line of flow of book of Genesis. And Moses wrote it in Noahide on his mind.
Thank you, I got it.
Thank you. And if you need more elaboration, you can go back to our classes there on the playlist, if you have time for that. Any other questions? I appreciate your question there, the chance to elaborate. And you too, you may, your report, your comment is right on the target.
Rabbi, can you take a look at my eye? I think I have something wrong with it. Could you take a look at it, please?
Well, you need to
I'll make an appointment.
always complimentary, and we charge you only $300 for
Only 300?
5 minutes.
Well, then I'll come. Well, I'm a psychotherapist, so I'll only charge you for $150 for for an assessment of you.
Well,
Such a deal. Such a deal.
yes. All right. If you have no other question, I know I just touched the surface. So you will have a good week, and God bless you. We'll meet again next week. Continue. So
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi. Bless you.
take care.
Thank you.